welcome in. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. If you have blocks or something shaped like a block or sturdy like a block available, grab 2 of those. And maybe a blanket if you have one handy, anything that'll make you comfortable. This is normally a chill class, but it was on the schedule as a flow, so we're going to do a chill flow class. So a little bit of movement, but nothing too crazy. And we'll focus a little bit on the outer hips. We're going to be working through what are called water salutations. And I've been playing with those a lot lately. They're really fun to work on balance and to build strength in your outer hips and to just, learn to go with the flow, which I think at least I need a lot more of lately. So, yeah, 2 block-ish type things and maybe a blanket or some sort of cushion. And that should be it. We'll get going in just a minute. I'm going to pop our playlist in the chat. Cool. If you want to follow along with the playlist, it is in the chat there. And y'all, let's get started. Make sure you have 2 blockish type things or something that can support a little bit of weight for you. 2 of those handy, blanket or a little cushion, and we'll get started in a comfortable seat. Sukhasana, easy pose. Not very easy, especially if you have wonky ankles like me. So I like to prop my hips up a little bit here, but you're welcome to just sit on the ground as well. And for today, we're going to just be a little bit more mindful about our Sukhasana, and if possible, try to cross at your shins so the ankles and feet are tucked right underneath your knees, and then flex your toes a little bit back. So you're nice and active through the feet and the ankles. If it feels okay, you can close your eyes, or you can just keep a soft gaze or eyes wide open, whatever feels best for you. Allow yourself to start to kind of make your own choices here. And then you might sway a little from side to side, just settling into the hips and the low back, seeing how everything is feeling today. And then you can start to really get grounded and heavy through your low body, and then from that nice solid base, see if you can walk your spine a little bit longer. And then drop the chin just slightly, lengthening the back of the neck. So think length through the spine more than the entire body. Settle into a few rounds of breath here, trying to slow down the breath if it feels a little lifted. Or if it feels a little too droopy today, you might pick up and just allow the breath to be a little fuller and a little bit more engaged. Regardless of if your eyes are open or closed, try to just soften around any resistance or any worries that are arising right now. Maybe the worry is just not feeling like sitting still right now. Any of these worries are valid and they are welcome, and there's no need to push them away. Just allowing yourself to really be present in this moment, recognizing that it'll be gone in just the next moment. Sitting with yourself exactly as you are, from breath to breath, moment to moment. And then start to breathe a little bit deeper. We're going to be moving with our breath for the first part of this flow. So I want you to really start to find a rhythm that works for you. Not a forced rhythm. We might have to adapt once we start to move, but just seeing how it feels today. So as you inhale, breathe in through the nose. Pull the breath as low into the belly as you can, really filling up and expanding. And as you exhale, just as powerful on the way out. Pull the belly button in towards the spine, really compress and let go all of that air. So this is like our near 100% capacity of breath, right? One more time, inhale, fill up as big as you can. Fill up, fill up, fill up. And as you exhale, deflate, let it all go. And start to turn into that that breath right in between your natural breath and that big breath that we just took. So finding that middle ground that feels doable and sustainable for you as we start to move through our practice today. It can be in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the nose. Lots of options here depending on how the sinus situation is feeling today. Just settling into something that feels sustainable for you, whatever that looks like. If your eyes are closed, they are welcome to stay that way. We'll sweep the hands up high, take a big breath in, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, but allow your shoulders to drop down and away from the ears so the sides of your neck stay long. And then as you exhale, keep rooting down through your sits bones and start to hinge forward. So you're like reaching your chest towards your knees here. If you start to feel your tush lift up, drop the hands for support, and this is your edge. Now, if the tush is staying down on the ground, you can start to walk yourself a little further forward, just finding a forward fold over your Sukhasana, over your crossed legs here. Even though there's a little compression of the belly, notice if you started to breathe a little bit more shallowly, and see if you can breathe a little bit deeper, focusing in the breath into the back side of your body, into the backs of the shoulder blades and the low back. And then staying low, walk yourself over to the right, both hands over to the right. You can reach the arms long, think of broadening the collarbones just a touch so you're really proud through your chest here. And it can feel nice to tent up onto the left fingertips and maybe walk those a little further as you root down through the left hip, feeling that nice side body stretch. And nice and slow through center and over to the left side this time. Both hands walk to the left. Root down through the right sits bones especially, maybe tent onto the right fingertips and walk those a little further. You can almost spiral your right shoulder like you're trying to spike it up towards the ceiling to get a little bit more depth or sensation in this pose. And then nice and slow, walk back up through center. Sit up tall, drop the hands back behind you, or you can use your blocks if the ground feels far away. Hands back behind the hips, and just take a moment to roll the shoulder blades together, puff up through your chest and your heart, lift it up. You might even lift your vision and let the chin lift as well. And 2 to 3 big rounds of breath, really flaring out through the front side of your ribs, feeling that opening through the chest. Good, then nice and slow, come back through center. If you're following along with the playlist, you can press play now, and we'll just rock ourselves forward into a tabletop position, hands and knees. And for tonight's tabletop, I want you to find a variation that feels good for you. You might have the knees and the hands a little wider than the shoulders and the hips. You might have everything stacked. You might have it a little narrow if you want to work on some balance tonight. Just allowing yourself to feel it out for yourself in your own body. And then we'll switch up our cat-cows a little bit tonight. As you inhale, drop the belly low, and then start to press your ribs over to the left. And then start to lift the shoulders up. Think cat pose here, roll over to the right, press the right ribs out, and then come back through center. Inhale, drop the belly, think cow pose here. Ribs over to the left, right into your cat pose, arch and lift through the shoulders, over to the right, and then drop it back down. So kind of drawing some big circles with the rib cage and the hips. Everything can kind of follow along, but the rib cage is really what's kind of leading these movements here. And this is a nice time to check back in with that rhythm of your breath. Make sure that you're still breathing just as mindfully as you were when we were sitting still. And if you've lost it, now is the time to encourage yourself to find it in these movements. Very nice. Come back through center. Let's draw the thighs and knees together. Settle the hips towards the heels, child's pose. To release the shoulders, you can rest to the backs of your hands and allow your elbows and your forearms to touch, and then slowly drop the forehead down to rest on your biceps. And I love this kind of pulled in variation of child's pose because it allows for the compression of the thighs to really breathe some space into the low back. And we'll take 2 rounds of breath here, inhaling and exhaling. Once more, inhale and exhale. And then nice and slow, walk yourself back up. Rock over to one hip, and we'll find the opposite cross of your legs. If you remember, it's generally the opposite of the first, or like your natural one. There's like the leg you always want in front, right? For me, I think it's my left, so I'll switch it up. Trying to cross at the shins, allowing your feet to rest under your knees, and then activity in the feet, so flexing the toes towards the top of your foot. Taking one breath in, sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, start to hinge forward, just like we did before, finding that forward fold. If your tush starts to lift off the ground, if you lose that grounding, that's your edge. If not, you might walk a little bit deeper. Any of these stops get the same effect, so don't feel like you have to look any specific way in this shape. One more full round of breath here, slow and steady. Inhale through the nose and exhale. And slowly make your way over to the left, hands walk over to the left. Tenting onto the right fingertips, root down through that right sits bone. Breathe into the right side rib cage, into the low back. One more full round of breath here. And as you're ready, come back through center, right on over to the other side, to the right. This time, left seat roots down, left long, left arm long. Words are hard today, my brain is tired. And then find that length and lift through the left side of your body. The bigger you breathe into that left side of your body, filling up through that left side lung, the more expansion you can find into all those little nooks and crannies that might be holding some tension. One more round of breath, take your time. And coming back through center, coming up right, hands drop back behind you onto the blocks or onto the earth, and then slowly wrap the shoulder blades together, puffing up, broadening through the chest and the collarbones, finding that nice back bend here. And if it feels good and safe on the neck, you can lift your vision, maybe even letting the chin lift. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale brings you back upright, rocking over into your tabletop once more. And we'll take those barrel rolls in the opposite direction. Maybe you change up the shape of your tabletop. As you're ready, inhale to drop the belly. Find your cow pose. Ribs go to the right or the opposite way you did before. And then slowly arch and lift through the spine. Rock your weight forward here. Press the ribs over to the left. Back down and inhale to your cow pose. Taking a few rounds of these. Again, finding that nice big rotation, that circular motion through your rib cage. Again, the rest of the body is just along for the ride, so you can get as loosey-goosey with it as feels good. Very nice. And as you're ready, curl your toes under, begin to lift your knees, finding just a very brief downward dog, and then walking your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Taking a moment in your forward fold, allow the feet to be spaced about hip width distance so you have that nice solid foundation here. Deep bend in the knees so you can really drape the upper body, let the head hang loose. And feeling that nice grounding sensation. Maybe the hands are still on the earth, the feet are definitely on the earth, unless you're levitating, which is pretty cool. And as you're ready, nice and slow, begin to roll all the way up. Standing Tadasana, fan fingertips out next to the hips. Broaden the collarbones once more. Start to press down through the entire sole of your foot, all four corners, and then press the hips slightly forward. You'll feel the glutes engaged. A nice active Tadasana mountain pose here. As you're ready, inhale to lift the arms up, reach, and from here we're going to press the forearms and the elbows together. On your next breath in, begin to lift the elbows, lift the fingertips, maybe lift your vision, little back bend here, but we're still squeezing the glutes. As you exhale, fold it down. Good, inhale, rise back up, keep the arms, and then relax them down. Good, so we're gonna start with our water salutations. They can be a little mind-boggling to start, but we'll work through this first round real slow, and then we'll pick up the pace for a few rounds, and then we'll be done with them, so it'll be good. So we're going to start with the legs crossed, right foot behind the left. Doesn't really matter if the feet are super close together. You just want to make sure that this feels comfortable enough to move. I like to bend my knees and make sure I'm actually mobile in this shape, and then make sure that you feel stable enough, that same grounding sensation. From the crossed legs, we'll find the arms together, palms. And then we'll take a big breath in, lift the elbows, lift your vision, gentle back bend here. As you exhale, bend the knees, little buoyancy there as you forward fold down. Release the fingertips to the earth. Your right foot, always the one behind, will step to the back left corner of your mat. So you're still making that nice crisscross shape. Nice long stance here, lower down to your right shin. Blocks your fingertips to the earth. Take a breath in, peel the collarbones forward, lift the chest, really let the hips settle low. One more breath in to lift the chest a little more. As you exhale, hands to the earth. Downward dog with crossed legs, left foot in front of right. Press the chest back, gentle bend in the knees is welcome. This might feel a little awkward, that's okay, we're not here for perfection. Inhale, sweep your right heel high. Exhale, step your right foot to your left thumb. So making that crisscross shape. Settle down to the left shin. I like a really long stance here, so I have space to settle my hips low, blocks your fingertips to the earth. Pull your chest forward, puff it up. Big breath in. Full breath out. One more time, inhale. And exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, left foot behind the right, cross-legged forward fold at the top of your mat. Arms and forearms, hands pressed together. Inhale, rise up, lift up. Find that gentle back bend at the top. Exhale, right back down, fold over, legs stay crossed. Moving to the other side. Left foot steps to the right back corner of your mat. Nice and long stance here. Lower down to the left shin. Fingertips are blocks. Breath in to puff up the chest. Exhale, ground the hands. Right foot in front of left. Downward facing dog. Cross the legs. Inhale here. And exhale here. Inhale, sweep the left heel high. Exhale, step to your right thumb. Finding that nice big cross of the legs. Lower down to the right shin. Nice cross-legged variation of our low lunge. Inhale to pop the chest. Exhale to stay. Inhale, curl the back toes under. Exhale, right foot behind the left. Forward fold, top of mat. Let it go. Forearms and palms pressed together. Inhale, rise up. Keep those legs squeezing in for stability. Find your back bend, maybe. Exhale, fold it back down. We'll pick up the pace for this second round. Inhale, step your right foot to the back left corner of the mat. Right shin to the earth. Breath in, peel the chest forward. Breath out, downward dog with crossed legs. Left ankle in front of the right. Inhale, sweep your right heel high. Exhale, step to the left thumb. Lower down to the left shin this time. Breathe in, press the hips and the chest forward. Exhale. Inhale, lift the back knee. Exhale, cross-legged forward fold. Left foot behind the right, top of mat. Palms and forearms together. Inhale, rise up. Stamp down through the feet. Find your back bend. Exhale, fold back down. Last round here. Inhale, left foot to the back right corner of your mat. Lower down to the shin. Inhale, peel your chest forward. Exhale, right shin in front of the left, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left heel high. Exhale, step to your right thumb. Lower down to the right shin. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, curl the back knee under. Exhale, step cross-legged, forward fold, right foot behind the left. Press the forearms and the palms together. Inhale, rise up, find your back bend. And exhale, release everything. Step the feet to hip width distance. Nice job, guys. A little mind-boggling, but it's fun. A little switch up. So feet hip width distance. Take a moment to sit the hips low, finding your chair pose just for a beat. We won't be here for long, just getting a little warmth in the legs. Arms can extend forward, or maybe the hands at the heart feel better today. That's been feeling really good for me. And instead of really sticking the butt back to find more depth, see if you can use your core to support the low back. So a little roll of the hips towards your ribs to lengthen the low back, and then maybe you sit a little lower from there. Beautiful. Inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, fold it down. I'm going to take some fun ragdoll movements here. So leaving the feet wide for a nice stable base. Bend the knees, droop yourself forward. And then nice and slow, roll up one vertebra at a time. When you reach the top, fan the hands open, press the hips forward, lean back a little back bend. And then right back down, rolling yourself all the way down to your forward fold. Good. Inhale, roll yourself up. At the top, press the chest up and forward. Exhale, roll it back down. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower down. Take a few more at your own pace. It can feel good to go side to side, rolling up the right side, rolling down the left side, then rolling up the left side, and rolling down the right side. So just finding a little bit of spinal mobility here. It doesn't have to look like anything. Just get a little loosey-goosey. Don't worry about it. Whenever you find yourself in your forward fold and you're balanced out, let's all meet here. Taking a moment to sway a little from side to side. And nice and slow, roll yourself back up. Finding your Tadasana, palms bright, reaching forward, standing tall. Place the hands on the hips, step your right foot way long back, and then make your way to the long edge of your mat, setting up for a wide leg forward fold. So I like to kick my heels out a little bit, toes turn in just a touch, and then switch your hips a little from side to side, check in, see how everything's feeling. My hips and low back are like problem areas for me in terms of pain and edginess in my movements. I like to check in, get those snap, crackle, pops out, you know, just see how it's going. Sassy little swish. And then when you're ready, take a breath in to puff up your chest, bend into the knees, reach the booty back just a touch, and then fold right down the center. When you reach the bottom, really shake the head loose. Notice if you're holding tension. If you feel stable, you might draw the hands to the back of your neck, allowing the elbows to be a little counterweight to drag the head a little further down. And then it can feel good to sway to one side and then the other, finding that nice circular motion of the ribs once more. And as you're ready, release the fingertips to the earth, heels in, toes turn out. Sit low into the legs, letting the knees track with the toes, and then lift the chest for your goddess squat or horse pose. So you want to make sure that we feel stable. Again, knees track in line with the toes. So if the knees are kind of knocking in or going past the toes, just line them up. Root down through all four corners of your feet once more, and then find a little press of your hips forward. You'll feel those inner thighs start to work. And then we can bring the hands to the thighs, take a big breath in, puff up the chest. Exhale, dip the right shoulder down, look to the left. Very nice. Inhale back up through center. Exhale, dip the left shoulder down, look to the right. Wonderful. A few more times each side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop the right shoulder down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, dip the left shoulder down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, right shoulder dips. Taking time to balance out this last side. Beautiful. We've been working with mobility a lot in my classes lately because, you know, really, we just want to be able to move, getting up and down off the mat, making sure everything is feeling fluid, and if it's not, then we know. So we're going to do a little bit of mobility to get into our hip stretch for the night. From your goddess squat, we'll be going to the right. So start to turn your right toes towards the back of your mat. From here, we'll pivot into a little 90-90 lunge. Carefully lower that left knee, left shin down to the earth. Good, then we're gonna keep spinning to the right. Coming into Gomukhasana or cow face pose. This can be kind of hard to see from here, but we're gonna be spinning so that the right shin, right knee, comes on top of the left shin and left knee. And if you end up in more of a Sukhasana kind of shape, that's okay for today. Or you can just kind of pile the knees on top of one another again. Right side on top of the left, and the mat may have moved with you a little bit. That's okay, no big deal. If you'd like to maybe adjust your sweet potatoes or lift something, put a blanket or something underneath your hips, that can be helpful here. And then flex the toes just like we did before, so think toes up towards the top of your foot or your shin. Now upright for me, cow face or Gomukhasana is a very intense pose. Maybe you see it in my face through the camera. If you are feeling good, you might also start to hinge and fold forward, but once again, make sure that your tush stays rooted as you move. If it starts to lift up, that's your edge. Maybe you find that upright seat. It can be nice to close the eyes here. I also like to really roll my neck around, loosening up any tension in the upper body as well as into the hips. Think of each movement that you take like a little love note to yourself. you're folded over, slowly begin to make your way back up. Blocks can be handy here. You can also do this without hands. I'm not there yet, but you know, maybe one day. Our mobility, the challenge is going to be getting back up into our goddess pose. So first begin to place the hands or hands to heart center. Bring the weight to your right foot and come onto your left shin. So we're in that 90-90 lunge. Curl the left toes under, slowly rise up, heels in, toes out, sit back down into your goddess squat. Can feel good to sway a little from side to side here, a little side lunge action. Good, and then kick the heels out, toes turn in just a touch. Take a breath in to find length, press the hips slightly forward, bend the knees, wide leg forward fold. This time, drop the left fingertips down, spiral the right hand high, take a twist. And back down, right fingertips touch down, left hand high, little twist. It's okay if the hips are moving with you. And then both hands touch back down. Find your goddess squat once more. Heels turn in, toes turn out, sit low. And then we'll move to the other side, this time going to the left. So turn your left toes so that they're facing the back or the front of your mat. And then slowly pivot onto the right ball mound of your foot. You're in your high crescent lunge. Lower down to the right knee. And then keep spinning to the long edge of your mat. Left knee, left shin, pile on top of right knee, right shin. I like my feet kind of even away from my hips. Some people prefer the heels in towards their hips in this shape. Again, just finding something that feels doable for your body. It might look more like a cross-legged seat for you today, and that's okay. Adjusting the sweet potatoes. And then just settling in. Maybe you fold forward on this side. Maybe this side feels massively different. Either way, just settle into the breath. You can close the eyes or allow yourself to stay present with them open. Movements in the neck on the other side, maybe just rolling the mouth around, loosening through the jaw. If you're folded over, slowly make your way back upright. If blocks are handy on the other side, you can bring them with you. We'll slowly make our way into that 90-90 lunge. So left foot grounds, right shin grounds. Curl the right toes under, spiral open, goddess squat. Good, and then just step to the top of your mat, take a big breath in, sweep the hands high. Exhale, forward fold, take it down. And using your fingertips or your blocks for support, come up onto the ball mounds of your feet by spiking your heels, and then keeping the heels as high as you can, start to settle the tush down towards your heels. This is a supported toe squat. It can be a really nice way to stretch the feet. I like to rock my weight a little from side to side. If you have the balance today, you might also focus the vision, wrap your hands around your shins. Not me today. And then nice and slow, turn the toes out, heels in. Try to click your heels together. Let the knees space out wide. And then press the heels down to the earth. Sometimes it can feel nice to take some gentle bounces here. Whew, this is an intense stretch of the Achilles tendon and the backs of the calves. Really great if you're a runner or for any of those people that, you know, just are using your legs on a regular basis throughout the day. Rocking a little forward and back. And then finding some stillness. If you feel okay, you can walk the hands a little further forward and really find kind of that forward fold quality here. Or maybe upright is plenty for you tonight, and this is beautiful too. If you're folded over, one more round of breath. And we'll all slowly make our way back up. Try to click your heels together to go home. And then drop your tush down to the ground. Extend your legs out long. Very nice. Now from the seated position, roll out the feet and the ankles. You can point the toes, stretching out the fronts of the shins. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Knees fall out wide. Once more, it might be nice to adjust your seats. And then drop the hands back behind you to the earth or to those blocks once more. And just like we did earlier, start to puff up through the chest by wrapping the shoulder blades together. I also like to press through the pinky edges of my feet, flex my feet, and try to press the outer knees and legs down towards the ground. If you're feeling any tension in the low back, reintegrate the core by drawing the belly button in towards your spine and finding this lift more through the chest than through the belly. One more breath in. And a full breath out. Release, inhale to sit up tall. And exhale, begin to hinge, folding as far forward as feels good. Again, your stopping point might be upright, or it might be a little further down, getting all of the same benefits regardless of where you are. No worries there, just allow yourself to feel comfortable. And wag the toes a little bit, making sure that the feet are still involved and active. And starting to settle into a breath that was a little closer to the expansive or exaggerated breath that we found. Really thinking of breathing some space into the body, filling up all of those nooks and crannies that like to hold tension. And exhaling to just soften around that tension with the idea of an acceptance within your mind and your body tonight. Another breath or two wherever you are. If you're folded over, you can take your time, very slowly walking yourself back up. With no rush at all, finding yourself back in the seats. Plant the feet out nice and wide to the edges of your mat, and then using your hands for support, maybe you can let the knees knock in towards one another. And then just windshield wiper a little from side to side, as big or as small range of motion as feels good. And then bringing the feet back in about hip width distance, and just make your way all the way down to your back. Now with those blocks handy, you may take one of them. We have an option for an active bridge pose for your back bend, or you might find a supported variation if you want to keep with the theme of chill. Either way, walk the feet in a little closer so the heels are just a little closer to your glutes, and you want to peek to the outer hips and make sure you can just see the very outside of your foot. Then from here, think of pressing down through the big toe edge so the inner thighs wrap together. Walk one shoulder blade underneath you and then the other, feeling that nice little lift of the heart and the chest like we found in our seated positions. Then press through the feet, lift the hips any amount. You can stay here in this active variation, thinking pressing through the big toes to keep the knees wrapping in. They like to kind of open up out to the side here. And you might also draw a block underneath, right at that plate, the sacrum of your low back, or the top of the glutes, and allow your weight to rest here. If you're in that active variation, hands can be down by your sides, pressing into the arms as much as the feet. Think of pulling your belly button in towards your spine if you're in that active variation without the block. Wherever you are, 3 more rounds of breath. You're in that supported variation, very slowly begin to lift the hips just enough to slide the block out from underneath you, and we'll all vertebra by vertebra. So taking our time here, very slowly roll the spine down to the ground. When you make full contact, give yourself a moment to settle. And then slowly draw the knees in towards your chest. Hands can grab for the knees or the shins if accessible. I like to draw the knees out wide and make some big circles with the legs. Anything that feels good. If it feels nice to extend the legs up into the air. Good. And then pulling the knees in together towards your chest. Take a big breath in, squeeze everything in. As you exhale, let the knees fall stacked over to the right. The left shoulder might want to lift here, so try to encourage the shoulders to touch down to the ground. I like to press through the backs of my arms, lift up a little bit, and then settle them back. The knees and the thighs aren't touching the earth, it's no big deal. You can use your block for support. Right underneath the outside of your right thigh. Big breath in, expanding through that center rib cage area we've been focusing on today. Your next breath in will bring the knees back in towards your chest. Little rock from side to side, little squeeze, little hug. And as you're ready, drop the knees over to the left. You might use the block for support on that side as well. Make sure the shoulders stay grounded, lift up, and allow both shoulders to rest as close to the earth as possible for you today. It can be really easy in a twist with the compression that's happening to breathe really shallow breath here, but instead try to counteract that with a big inhale, making space for yourself through the outer hip, low back, and through the rib cage once more. Slowly make your way back through center. We have a few options. If you have a bed or a couch nearby, you can take the legs up the couch or the bed, or even if you have a wall or a door, you can also do this with the legs a little bit straighter. Or you're also welcome to find a traditional Shavasana, laying down, extending the arms and legs out. You can also take your blocks or your blanket and take them right behind the upper thigh, closer to your glutes, to help release the low back by allowing the knees to bend. And then roll out the toes and the fingertips a few times, letting go of any final little wiggles that you need. Take a full breath in as big as you can, filling up your hot air balloon. Open mouth, exhale. Let it go. Let's do one more like that. Big breath in. Dramatic sigh out. Once more like that. Big breath in. This time slow and soft exhale to the bottom. And then return to your natural breath, whatever it looks like. Allowing yourself to settle into this state of rest, relaxation, recognizing that it might just be for a few moments, and that's okay. encourage you to stay here and rest, extending your practice for as long as you need. If you'd like to close out with me and move on with the rest of your evening, again by rocking the back of your head from side to side, using the ground beneath you to give your skull a little massage. Writing these last little love notes out to yourself tonight. And as you're ready, you can extend the arms, reach them up overhead, reach through them, then maybe you extend the legs, point through the toes, just mindful of whatever props, including your bed or your couch that you're using. And then if it's convenient, you can roll to one side and press yourself up to a seat, or stay exactly where you are. And as always, we'll close out my class, just taking a moment to open our eyes. I'm looking at you, I see you, you see me, and we see each other. With a deep gratitude for this practice, for all of the centuries of developing this practice until it made its way to me, and it is such a gift. One that I'm so grateful to be able to share with you. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. My name is Noel. If you have questions, I'm available. Instagram is a good way to get a hold of me. being.evergreen is my handle, so reach out to me there. If you'd like to donate for class, you can click that donate button, blackswanyoga.com/live, or you're also welcome to Venmo me. If you want to DM me, I can send you my Venmo. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to be here and practice, whether in live time or in the future. But I'll see you guys back next week, same time. I think we'll be coming back to our chill classes next week. I also teach online here at YouTube Live on Sundays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks, y'all. Have a good rest of your night.